Washington?
Washington State, yeah.
Beautiful. All right. How's that? All good, that?
All good, yeah.
13th of October, 74.
Yep.
Okay. Just a general reading?
Yeah. What? So this is my first time, so I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Go with it.
All right. Let's just see what we got. You got any questions?
Nope. Well, maybe after the reading, but yeah, that Saturn right there on the ascended is probably a powerful one, I guess. And that stellium, huge stellium at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got a lot of Libra stuff going on there. Gee. Some good and some bad.
Yeah.
There's some bad stuff here. There's some really good stuff.
When you say,
all right.
Where was the bad
what
stuff
is bad,
at? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Mars in Libra, okay? I've got to be frank with you. Mars in Libra will give an individual who is a little bit, unbalanced in judgments, aggressive, sometimes overexerting, bit judgmental, wrong decisions. It could also mean, trouble with, not necessarily, the justice, but, law, just some complications in that area. But it's very well balanced with Venus in Libra, because Venus rules Libra. So this is good, Venus, okay? But Mars is going to cause unbalance to your otherwise very fair, very equality mind, humanitarian-minded mind. Okay?
Okay.
So, I mean, you've actually got, what is interesting is you've actually got the Sun and Mars right on top of each other, brother. Now, this will give an individual who is very, very martial. And what does that mean? Well, a good soldier, a good sportsman, gymnast, athlete, great for all of those action things, man doing his business, great for, mental intelligence. It's just that with that mental intelligence, you need to be aware that Mars is very hot and bitter and will cause you to overexert when you're judging, when you're deciding. And you probably sometimes, when you weigh to the pros and the cons of things, sometimes you get caught making the wrong decision.
Sure.
Right? So there's ways of fixing that. I mean, I can see that it could be worse, but what's going on is you've got these red lines. Redshift is very harmful energy, not just for the purpose of causing harm to you, but for the purpose of giving you stress so that you can evolve. It's karmic.
Okay.
So, but the blue energy, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, you've got a grand trine, which means your element of water, you can see Jupiter is in Pisces, which is his domicile. This blue triangle is, yeah, I'm with you. Take your camera off.
Oh, that'll help with the bandwidth. Okay. Yep, you're right. All right.
How's that?
Much better.
Oh, good. All righty. So you should be seeing my screen now.
Yep.
Harmonious. It's in water. You see all the water signs, Cancer, blue.
Yep.
Scorpio, it's pointing down here to Scorpio, blue, and here to Pisces, blue water. So to have a grand trine in blue water, I mean, if you tell any astrologer you have a grand trine in water, they will tell you that your strength is emotional strength.
Okay.
Okay? Now, Libra, on the other hand, Libra is air, and that's where you've got 5 planets. So you also have mental strength. You have mental virtue, intelligence. great intelligence. I mean, Sun conjunct Mars in Libra will bring exquisite intellect and judgment.
Yep.
You just have to, now you know that you need to be careful not to overexert and be unbalanced in your judgment. You understand that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've probably seen that in your life. Now, where that is manifesting is in the 4th house. Okay, so the 4th house is your home, your land, your property, your car, everything that you have as your treasure, your property. All right. So you've got a very big property house. This will lend itself one day to investments, and securing, properties for your advantage. Okay.
Okay.
Now your moon is in Virgo. Do you realise that?
This is all new to me.
All right. Well, you've probably known all the time when people ask what's your sign, you say Libra. So That's cool. And what you need to know is where the other half is, the moon. She is the reactor. You have to know how you react in life to situations, to fear, to stress, to demand for action. So, for instance, there's an accident and you've got to get into action. Well, your Virgo moon is what will cause you to react to scenarios. And that moon is very analytical. And it analyzes everything to the finest degree. So I can see you sitting there in the darkness analyzing everything. Probably even paralyzing. Analyze till you're paralyzed. So I think I can see here through this that you might have a problem with procrastinating due to overanalyzing. Would that be true?
Absolutely. Sure. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, because your Libra sun, you see, the scales are always balancing. Should I go with the pros or should I go with the cons? And then your moon is analysing it even more. And so there's further analytical process which could cause you to be a procrastinator. Now, all that is sweet and dandy, but that's just your essential nature. Libran and Virgoan, analytical and balancing things. No fuss. You're not into fussing, you just want
drama
to balance things, fair.
Drama free.
Yeah, drama free. Okay. So that's all good. Now, your rising sign is Leo, just like me, which is interesting because that makes, these are flamboyant personalities, very limelight getting and seeking type of individuals. Maybe not so much seeking, but you definitely get it. So you walk in a room, everybody sees you. Leo ascendant, because you see, this is the mask you wear, the public mask, your personality. The personality is not truly you, your individuality is you. That's where your sun and moon are.
Yep.
So you need to be able to understand the difference between your rising sign. So a lot of astrologers, first thing they ask is, what's your rising sign? They don't really want to know, firstly, what your sun and moon are, because they want to see what personality they're dealing with. So a Leo is a feline, very confident. They wear their hearts on their sleeves. So out in the public, you're a very heart person, happy, sunshine, popular, very popular. You'll find that you'll have a lot of friends with a Leo rising. Life will be lucky, and also, there'll be many dangers, because the lion has a big roar and he's a wild beast and he likes to live dangerously. So you've got some very, very eclectic energies there, all right?
Yep.
Now, let's just move on. What we have is a lot of your planets are down below. So this is the introspective part of the chart. Everything below this line is darkness, winter, introspect. Everything above is extroverted, So you see that you probably find that, this will be good for someone who can metabolize information late at night, pondering things, 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight, doing work and doing good work.
My best work is done at night, definitely.
Yeah, well, this is the midnight point. Your Sun and Venus are hugging the IC and Mars, action. So you're very busy at home. This is your home life. It's very busy. Lots of stuff going on, very productive. Do you work at home?
Yes.
What do you do?
Sales, but I work out of my house.
There you go. If the Sun is there in this, it shows an individual who exerts a lot of vitality at the home. That's where your fun is. That's where you enjoy being. You're safe, you're secure. And it's obvious you're doing business because Mercury's there. Okay? Mercury's merchandise. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And commerce. And then Uranus is here too. Uranus is very revolutionary. So whatever you're doing at home is quite eclectic, weird, different, unusual, eccentric maybe. Just your style of doing things at home is very Uranian, very heavenly.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus means heavens. Just give me a minute.
Yep.
Getting a bit cold here. It's a winter summer we have here now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they call it climate change. Geoengineering.
Yeah.
Yeah. First they were trying to sell us global warming, but that didn't work. So they said, "All right, well, it's climate change then."
Right.
They like to cover their asses when they tell lies, don't they?
Right.
All right. Oops. Okay, so what we
Santos,
got here now.
One thing I want to interject. How does blood type come into this? I'm B negative, which is only 1%.
Oh Jesus, man! Oh my God! Wow. I'm not really the one to talk. Well, I am, I suppose, because I've done the blood type diet of John Diadamo for years when I was in my 20s, and my mother was doing it with me. She's Aryan as well. She's an O type, O positive. I'm A positive, so they're more common, very common.
Yeah.
And we learned how to eat. The O's generally are good with very solid eating, and whereas the A's should be vegetarian, So I, started years ago trying to be a vegetarian.
I know, I tried to.
But negative is very, very special. I mean, it's, I suppose they claim to be more of this earth, and they have more, earth DNA than the positives, which is positive because of the Reese factor, this RH Reese factor, which makes some they suggest, from what I've learned, is that this is more the genetically modified version of mankind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I suppose they are. Well, I mean, this chart is a chart of exquisite intelligence. Mars conjunct the Sun. Conjunct Venus and Uranus, etc. So, and Mercury in Scorpio makes for an absolutely sharp intellect.
But I should say, intelligence-wise, I've always felt extremely intelligent, but I did extremely bad in school.
Yeah.
Because I hate everything they were teaching me. I didn't want to learn. It wasn't interesting to me.
No, O-types are extraordinarily separate from systems of education. That's why most of the elite are negatives, and they are very intelligent, and they see themselves as separate and apart from the rest of humanity. So you might.
I saw somebody said that. B negative, so B would, A is alpha, B is beta, O is omega, but beta would be the original, I'm just one thing I heard, but it was interesting, the original, the the Jew, which would Ua. If you go back into Hebrew and Sanskrit, Ua, Eve would be Jew, Eve or something like that. I don't,
Yeah. Yep. I'm glad you know this, because I was gonna eventually go down there, because a lot of people don't understand what a Jew is. But yes, you're right. Jew, it comes from comes from Eve, which is the female counterpart of the lamb, which is Adam. So, it is a genetic thing. What exactly, I don't know, man. I mean, have you seen Ammon Stop Productions with their blood documentary?
No, but I'll take a look at it. And Santos, when I was 4 years old, I had an experience on top of Chichen Itza that would I can't get it. It's lived with me, if that makes sense. I've had many experiences that are synchronicity beyond galore. In fact, in the last year, I've had synchronicity things every single day. My dreams. I've been tested in my dreams and rewarded. I saw the big wheel.
Right.
Even before I knew what the big wheel was, I saw it, and then I found out what it was.
Okay, there's your monkey blood. It's called monkey blood. You need to check that out, mate.
Cool.
All right. Well, the reason why you're having a lot of visions and dreams and stuff like that is because Aries in the midheaven, the ruler of Aries is Mars, and Mars is very, very strong. So this house of dreams and visions, although there's no planet in it, it is highly activated, and of course, and then Jupiter in the 8th house. This is occult experiences, deep, penetrating, weird and wonderful, occult knowledge, penetration, going deep, going dark. So you probably have the ability to understand deep themes like carnal knowledge, sexual knowledge, law, religion. Have you ever had entheogens, ayahuasca, DMT?
Not yet, but planning to probably within the next year.
Yeah, well, that's going on here. You're obviously going to be one day doing that, because the 8th house is all about that. The 9th house, which you have, which is very strong, is dreams and visions and religion and spirituality and transcendental experiences. So it's definitely going on. If you look at the chart.
I did see Diamond Light about a year ago. If that makes sense.
Diamond Light?
Diamond Light. And that's, my life changed after I saw that Diamond Light.
Yeah. Well, do you know the exact date? Because I can check.
Yeah. Okay. So the Schumann resonance was bonkers. It was November 2nd through the 7th, I think, of 2016. November, December was activating for me. December, oh my goodness, that Christmas was like eyes wide open.
Well, you watch what happens here. Let's have a looky. Let's have a look-see. Let's see what happened. I've put the date of 5th of November 2016. Is that good?
Yeah, right around there, yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. Mars in Capricorn in the 6th house, Moon in Capricorn in the 6th house.
Wait, that's the same as my birth? Wait, is this my birth one, or is this...
No, this is on the inside. It hasn't changed. We're looking at the green planets on the outside.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You see, those are the transits. Those were the planets on the day, corresponding to your planets on the inside, which never move.
Okay.
All right. So what you've got to look for is activity in the houses of strange behavior, like these two up here and the 6th house.
Yeah.
Because this 6th house is dealing with self-improvement and growth in your development. And look at that.
Major,
Mars is there in Capricorn, which is his exaltation, meaning you were going to exalt in this period, which you did.
I did. Oh yeah.
And did you say all the way through December?
Yep, and then continuing on. Yeah, I mean, it continues until today. I mean, it's strong. It comes and goes, but it's strong. April 1st, a lot of weird things happened to me on April. I've had multiple breakups on the last on April Fool's Day. Relationship and breakups.
All right, last year,
and then 2 years before that, or a year before that.
Okay, well, let's have a look at that then. 2017, April 1st. And what do we got? Let's have a look at the 7th house. What's going on there? Or the ruler of the 7th house. Breakups. Saturn. Where's your Saturn? Shit. That's disappointing. Was that a long relationship?
1 year. The one before that was 2 years, but it was. It's weird how it comes on the same day, if that makes sense.
Yep. Let's just check that one, because this one doesn't show anything superficially. I mean, you know, it's sometimes you've got to look at various other things. So because we're just sort of superficially browsing, I mean, we're only spending a half an hour. So let's have a look at that. Saturn again. Where is Saturn? Well, look, April 1st will always have your sun up here in the 9th house, okay? And the 9th house is a house of change. For instance, you know, traveling. It's a cadent house which brings, you know, abrupt changes. I don't see anything directly in your relationship house, but that's the only thing I can see. Every year, on April 1st, the sun will be right here.
Okay.
Right here. And it will bring stress to this house, which is the house of spirituality. Do you argue, was it over something spiritual? Did you have...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely. Yep.
So you're growing spiritually and they're not, and you're leaving them behind.
That's
you're
exactly what it was, yep.
Yeah, so this is the sun bringing change, you're moving on and leaving them behind.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So now let me just quickly have a look at other things that are going on. You're very friend oriented. You got a good bunch of friends and community minded. All right. Mm-hmm. Moon, Pluto, Venus. Both Moon and Venus are loving feminine energies, which are great for gregarious type of people. So your assets are your diligence and virtue in the community and what you offer in the community. And this is also the house of education. It shows that you're a good writer, reader. Your mind and your thinking is pretty powerful. You can learn. You have secular understanding and wisdom. Opposite is spiritual wisdom, higher learning. This is secular learning. So, you didn't do well at school, but you're still a learner. Your mind has got its own ability to learn. I mean, you've got 3 planets in the learning house, okay?
Yep.
And this is also the house of bravery, initiative, courage. So you got plenty of that.
Tons of it. Tons. I'm a wing walker, Santos.
A wing walker?
Yeah, climb out on airplane wings. Yep.
Oh, really?
Take a look at my Facebook page. You'll in the pictures, and you'll see.
Gotcha.
We're friends on Facebook, so.
Well, that explains Mars conjunct the Sun in Libra. Okay, this is dangerous living, sporting, martial, soldier types, leaders, people who run businesses, people who command authority over others, can be aggressive, can be pushy, overexerting, because it's in Libra, and Mars does not like Libra, but it does make for a very, very sporting type of individual. So some people would consider wing walking as a blood sport because you can risk your life, yeah?
Sure.
Right. So there it is. Mars is red, it's blood. So there it is, conjunct the sun. You have a very, very, vital energy. I would say very lively and life of the party.
Yep.
Absolutely. And very popular with friends. My goodness.
Yep.
Yeah. Very popular with friends. Now, the only other thing I'm seeing that I want to comment on, two things. Saturn in the house of enlightenment. So, see, this is your transcendental nature, and Saturn is the master, Kronos. He's the boss, the perfecter of all things. Okay? So, enlightenment, this is where you're getting a lot of lights switching on, action is happening here.
Yep.
Yeah, so enlightenment, illumination, subconscious, superconscious, transcendental mind. You're tapping into the Akashic record here.
Yeah. It's hard for Santos. It's hard for people to lie to me because I know when they're lying.
Yeah. Well, I see that as a bit of both. This here, your awareness of the higher mind and tapping into it, and also, the Librans. The Librans are pretty good like that. They're very good imitators. If you wanted to copy people, the way they walk, talk, etc., mate, the Librans are the best mimickers.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I see, which you need to know, is your purpose. Well, your North Node is in the 5th house. Now, the 5th house is about pleasure, enjoying life. Okay, so you didn't do this in past lives. So karmically, you need to enjoy your life, believe it or not. That's a real breezy, easy destiny that you've got. But also here is spiritual practice as well. It's about the practice, not the knowledge. The knowledge is up here. The deep knowledge is here. The philosophical wisdom is here as well. This here is your practice from the heart. The heart is what causes you to act. One day you say, next week I want to go do some wing walking, and so you go and do it, right? And that's adding and contributing to your pleasure. Well, this is important for you. You know that it's the most powerful, it always has been in history, to remedy problems in your chart. You have to chant to these 7 planets. And there's a smartphone application called Aura Watch. I'd be downloading that so you can learn how to chant to all the 7 planets.
I'm trying to release myself some of my religious upbringing, much like you probably had to do. I did chanting one time, and it was so powerful that I had visions of future events that were so strong. I actually had to write a letter to the FBI to tell them what I thought was going to happen.
Okay, predicting the future is in this house, the 7th house. It's not a strong house, but you've got the ability through Saturn, the ruler of that house, and there must be other ways, other strengths that you have for prognosticating the future, but I would say it's a weak house, but in other areas, it might be coming from, I'm looking at Rahu conjunct Neptune. Neptune is totally an integrating planet that sees. Sagittarius is the eye that sees. Most Sagittarians are, a lot of Sagittarians are one-eyed because Jupiter, the centaur, the ruler of Sag, is a one-eyed centaur. Now, you've got the North Node there. So if you've got Rahu in Sagittarius, your eyes, there's something special about your eyes or your eye.
there's a certain spot on my right eye where when I've seen things on a couple times, it's always been when I saw the diamond light. It was in my right eye, to the right side of it, and that's where I've seen the diamond lights a few times, and it's always been on the same eye, same spot.
Yeah, well, I'm hunching that's Neptune in Sagittarius. Whenever I see this, my Neptune, I was born in 63, you're 74, so Neptune was right in the middle of Scorpio, which is the hormones, the genitals, the generative system. Now, your Neptune, which is a highly spiritualized Venetian-type planet, conjunct your Rahu, this is now the third eye, the liver, seeing. Sagittarius is the sign of seeing. So, and the fifth house is the house of practicing spiritual things, not knowing, practicing. So your practice, is, I suppose, coming from here, and your third eye would be definitely activated if you've got Rahu in Sagittarius, conjunct Neptune.
Yeah, I'm activated.
Yeah, well, this to me is your best house here, the fifth house.
Okay.
Now, as for your jobs and the weakness there, you need to be chanting to Mars if you want to improve that. Mars is the ruler of the 10th house, which is employment and career. Are you happy with your career?
No. Yes and no. Yes and no.
All right, well, try chanting to Mars, brother, and see what happens. Okay. It's not religious. This is not religious. This is spirituality.
Absolutely, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
All right. Now, give me some questions.
Actually, more than any questions, I just want to give you thanks and praise for all that you do. I feel, as far as questions, my experience, I sent you a picture a while. It's in that email we pulled the birthday when I was on top of Chichen Itza, and I've talked to, I've become pretty good friends with the local medicine man for the local Native Americans, and talked to him about it at length. But I definitely, when I was 4 years old, so after I had my experience on top of Chichen Itza when I was 4 years old, and I had other. I've astral traveled. I've been out of body a few times when I was a child, but then also within the last year. And when I was my Chichen Itza experience was my dad actually got cancer. He started peeing blood 3 days later after I had my experience on Chichen Itza. And the Native Americans medicine man thought that I had awoken Quetzalcoatl, and he was somewhat upset for having to be woken. And then I asked my mom if anything weird happened, and she said a black snake came down the steps of, because this is when you could climb Chichen Itza back, back in the 79, 80 or something like that. That a black snake came down the steps. My sister, about a year and a half ago, said, we've never talked about this experience. She said, do you remember that the weird thing that happened on top of Chichen Itza? We never talked about it. And, she saw a feathered man kind of thing. And she was 3. So these are memories. I told her nothing about my experience. And one day she kind of pipes up, and I was like, I've been holding on to these memories for a long time. So,
oh boy, that's interesting. You got a lot of brothers and sisters?
So my dad did pass away from cancer, and interesting enough, his name was Norm. And something I realized that came to me in the last 6 months was, if you take Norm backwards, it's Aaron. So M becomes 2 A's. Aaron, Norm, is his name backwards, which he didn't know that. He just liked the name. My parents liked the name. They didn't know it was his name backwards.
Haha. Yeah. Well, I see that in the chart. I see illness for your father. How's your mother?
Healthy, but Italian happy. You know, she's happy Italian, so.
Okay, both parents obviously Italian, yeah?
My dad was Norwegian, my English, and then my mom is Italian mostly.
Well, because no, but I would stay close to my YouTube channel. That's the best information on the planet, bar none. Are you aware of my channel?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Expansions. Yeah, I wouldn't be going to. I'd stay with this channel.
I think I'm 100 hours into your stuff at least. So.